Hi everybody, how are you doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing well. And I want to go over last night real quick. I know these subjects are very hard to deal with, hard to hear. They're hard for me to read. There are worse stories that we will get into, which is even sadder. Real fast before I start, I want to go over really quick again. This right now is coming down to the fight of our lives, the battle between good and evil. We know it's been foretold in our Bibles. You also seen it in your in their protocols that were in my videos, marked protocols. If you haven't, go back and see it. This is the final fight, and it's coming quick. And we are trying to stop evil from taking over our world. We are trying to stop the evil that is going on in the world right now. And if you have any religious in you at all, because I know some people do not believe, which is your choice. But for those of you that do, understand this is the time that God is telling you to have your faith at its strongest. This is the time that you need to fight for what's right and take a stand, no matter what anybody else says, what anybody else feels, because that is the war you are fighting inside you to play your part in this. You must keep your faith. You must stay strong, and you must not let anybody pull you away from your beliefs, which they've been trying to do now for a very long time. Once they take your faith, you're as good as done. Keep your faith. Stay strong. Unite, and let's do this. We will stop these evil people from doing the disgusting, sadistic things that they are doing to people. And we will take back our rights, and we will revamp this world. It needs to be done. If not, the world falls to chaos. And I promise you, you evildoers, nor millions of people are going to be calling out for you to pull it out of chaos, because you're the reason for the chaos. So we will not be calling out and asking you to put evil on a throne to make it even worse, because that's what will happen, people. So let's just end it here and get rid of the evil. Okay? Now let's get back into what we need to be learning at this point. This is what our government hides from us. This is what these evildoers have been hiding from us. This is what they've been getting away with for a very long time. This is what needs to stop. In every single country from Haiti to Somalia to Rwanda and Nigeria, where 58,000 women and girls were viciously, intimately attacked and assaulted in the first 9 years by UNMIL, which is the United Nations mission in Liberia, and more than 75% by UN personnel, which means from the lowest to the highest person, were involved. From East, and I hope I say this right, East Timor to Bosnia were Italian. Peacekeepers ran child prostitution rings right from their barracks. The blue helmets left a trail of abuse and trauma, as one of the official reports strikingly put it. Many parts of the world where the UN was present were descending into chaos, if not hell, and arguably with the assistance of the UN. There were plenty of investigations, but hardly any of the perpetrators that had admitted to their crimes were prosecuted. Let that sink in. Even the ones that admitted to their crimes were not prosecuted. Even recently, the UN was once again connected with child trafficking and child abuse. When Canadian I'll need to see why I put a little note here. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Canadian Mogul. I don't know why I put that, or I can't figure it out now. But anyways, Mogul Peter Dalglish, I hope I said that right, was caught in the act of abusing 2 young boys in Nepal. He then was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Up until his arrest in 2019, he had been presented as a saint, a protector of children. He was a country representative for UN Habitat in Afghanistan. He truly was into children. That's a very sarcastic remark. He even... Sorry, hold on one second. He even set up Street Kids International to help homeless children. What a saint. What a great loss to our children. Again, you know it's sarcastic. Oh, and the UN have more on their slate. Remember the Bosnian War? Former Yugoslavian, 1992 to 1995. In July of 1995, the UN failed to protect the so-called safe area in the enclave of I don't know how to say this properly. Give me a minute. Srebrenica. Instead of protecting the Bosnian people who had fled there, the UN turned their backs on them. 8,372 Bosnian men and boys were oh, that's why it's backwards. I was like, that's not where it left off. Okay, 8,372 Bosnian men and boys were separated from their families one night and were slaughtered by Serbian armed forces. More than 100,000 people were massacred in these useless wars, mostly Bosnians. Between 30 to 50,000 Bosnian women and children and elderly were brutally, intimately assaulted, then deported. The official status of genocides was not acknowledged under international law until 2004. Under the UN flag, Siberia genocide. Oh, that just gives the date, 7/11/1995. That was something I wrote off into the side just to make sure you had that little bit more of information. Okay, back to the official mission of the UN to turn its world into a better place, right? That's what they're supposed to be for. This is highlighted by the Club of Rome, a group of 100 powerful men and women set up in 1968 by, among others, David Rockefeller. As his private estate near Rome, let me make sure I wrote that right. Yeah, at his private estate near Rome, a private club presenting itself as a think tank providing suggestions to the UN. Its goal to discuss its concerns about the future of planet Earth, to come up with solutions, and to urge governments worldwide to act upon those solutions. In 1972, the limits to In 1972, the Limits to Growth was published, the Club of Rome's first paper on the problems of humanity, followed by the first global revolution in 1991, in which humanity was outed as the root problem for all the misery in the world. In need of a common enemy against whom we can unite, we have decided that pollution, global warming, water shortage, famine, etc. are perfect. These are threats we need to confront together, but we should not fall into the trap of mistaking symptoms for causes, as these dangers are caused by human intervention in natural processes, and it is only through changed attitudes and behavior that they can be overcome. The real enemy is humanity itself. Club Rome. That's what they say. Then why do they constantly do this? They are the ones messing with and destroying nature. Isn't that what they do on a regular basis? They do things that destroy our ecosystem, our animals, different breeds of animals. They dig up, knock down, rip down all of our trees and wildlife to build huge buildings that are unnecessary, and so on and so on and so on. I believe that would be the government, and doing it for what? Money and profit. Because, all them big wallets need big mansions, and they need to own big places to rent out. And they need to build these humongous buildings in areas. But yet it's us. We're the problem. We're the problem. Okay. As they spend all our money on these unnecessary things. Okay. This, my friend, was the foundation of everything that was about to unfold. Humanity as the cause of all problems. Now you know where that came from. Okay? And the rest of all this BS that I'm about to tell you. The UN was delighted by the Club of Rome, of course, because now they had a friend to help manipulate the people. It had founded the World Commission on Environment and Development in 1983, and the parallels with the conclusions of the first Global Revolutions research paper were obvious. From now on, sustainability was the cabal's magic word. Where do we see sustainability? Every freaking where now. Everywhere. And since I've read about this, I have seen it in places I never thought I would see it. You can look and see it anywhere. Some of the documentaries, some of the movies that you're watching, some of the ads that you're watching, I have seen it on so many things. Oh, and I even went into an app the other day under a restaurant, and it was on one of the little things that said about the app. This word is everywhere, which means it's touched by the government. And it's a BS word. It's another trickery word. It's to make you think they're doing something good when they're actually doing something bad. Something evil. Don't fall for it. But do watch. You'll see it everywhere. And watch the documentaries that prove it's all bull. Again, and you will see it in the documentaries that I gave you the other day. Okay, so in 1992, the first United Nations Conference on Environment and Development had held in Brazil, where the first agenda for environmental and development, also known as Earth Summit Agenda 21, was developed and adopted. 21 was a reference to the 21st century, when all of the said goals would have been met. 178 governments agreed with and signed the agreement. At the UN Sustainable Development Summit 2015, 25 through 27. Sorry, that beeped, so let me say this again. At the UN Sustainable Development Summit 2015, that was the 25th through the 27th in September, Agenda 2030 was presented. An extended version of Agenda 21. 11 more goals were added to the original agenda, all aimed at the future of our planet and at the human race, all aimed at sustainability. By now, 193 countries were participating. Do you know how many countries there are in the world? Only 2 more, 195. Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The only 2 that are called observer states are the Vatican and Palestine. Agenda 2030 contains 91 paragraphs. Paragraph 59 outlines 17 sustainable development goals. There are 169 targets and 232 indicators. This makes it a rather dry document to digest, but we read it and we were impressed by the level of cleverness and cunningness with which something so evil was put together, so seemingly benign. Using complex phrases and with words like peace, equality, safety, and security are repeated frequently. Again, brainwashing. Keep saying it, keep putting it in there. Brainwashing. The reader is actually left with a good, positive feeling. Of course. Somebody's blowing smoke up your butt with a bunch of good words and things you don't understand. You think it sounds good. Well, we'll show you the 17 Sustainable Development Goals in the following parts. Feel free to pause and read and have a good look for yourself. Let's face it, these goals are not feasible. The Club of Rome and the UN can use as many beautiful words as they can come up with. But how on earth are they going to accomplish these 17 goals? By asking you and me to pay more taxes? Think about it. Goal 1, end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Really, how? Really, how? The word sustainable is used 10 times. Why? To throw fairy dust into our eyes so that we don't see? So that we will willingly pay more taxes and more taxes and more taxes so that the world will be safe from us? Us, the cancer of the earth? Because that's what we are to them. The cancer of the earth. We are all the problems in the world. And on top of that, we are the cancer of the earth. There is nothing sounds about this. I think I missed something when I was writing, but there's nothing that sounds good about this. Basically, I can fill that in. And there's nothing that sounds logic. There's no logic in it. It doesn't sound good. There's no logic, so on. Okay? So I'm going to go over this again. There is nothing that sounds good about these 17 goals. There is no logic. Take goal 7. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. How? Are they finally going to give the oppressed free 0-point energy of Nikola Tesla? His birth and death date 1856 to 1943. To the people? Are they finally going to give the oppressed free 0-point energy of Nikola Tesla to the people? Really? The real reason why these goals were put together is to come to the conclusion that they can never be achieved. As long as all the participating countries in all the world and all their governments have to communicate with each other, that's just too much time, too much money is lost due to endless meetings. So they're not going to put the effort into this. Not if they feel it's costing them money that they have but don't want to give. I will bet you that the next step will be the announcement that the 17 Sustainable Development Goals can be only reached with one world government. That's what they've been pushing on us, the one world government, right? Well, I guess this is how they're going to really push it on us. Again, I will bet you that the next step will be the announcement that the 17 Sustainable Development Goals can only be reached with a one world government. We the people cannot allow that to happen. The countries will have to give up their sovereignty in order to save the world. Mark my words. Again, the countries will have to give up their sovereignties in order to save the world. Mark my words. Are you willing to give that up? The essence of the entire agenda 2030 is socialist communistic. The essence of the entire agenda 2030 is socialistic and communistic. It describes equal distributions of goods and money, which sounds great, but which in fact means the rich countries are to share their wealth with the poor countries. These poor countries are generally run by high corrupt serpenters and dictators. And are they going to share their wealth with their money with their people? That sounds like a wonderful idea to get rid of poverty once and for all. Everybody would be rich in split seconds. Do you think these people are really going to give their people any money, even if we sent it to them? No. Let's take all the money from the corrupt government, then add to it the immense wealth of the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, both of the British and Dutch royal families, and of course, the Vatican. Then let's distribute that wealth among the world population. My, what a wonderful idea to end world poverty once and for all. I very much agree. I've been saying this for a very long time. There is no reason for some people to have the kind of money that these people have, especially when they didn't really earn it. They stole it from us. They've used corruption to get it, and etc., you know. And it's more money than any person's or family needs. So why can people stash away money that's untouchable when there's people out there that need money? How can anybody be allotted to have that kind of money? That's what I don't understand. When there's suffering and people doing without. That's not what this world was put in place for. It's not what it's about. And this is just showing you the pure concept of greed and evil and all the bad things that come with it. It's ridiculous. Well, no, of course not. They are greedy demons. They will never do the right thing. So, of course, as it usually does, as it usually goes, I wrote the wrong word, sorry, as it usually goes, it will be on us, the people, to share with the people. From what little we have, we will have to share with them, because the rich, demon, greedy, disgusting people are never going to help anybody and are never going to give anything else up to help anybody. They only care about their evil selves. So, in one case, the Dutch taxpayer will have to pay to share with the poor people of, in this example, I want to make sure I say this right. And I know it. And the sad thing is, I probably will screw it up. New Guinea. So, once again, us poor people will come to the rescue of the poor people. And we will suffer because they, the rich and greedy, will never do nothing. And you can see it by statements that are posted in comments every freaking day, how disgustingly horrible people with money are. And I'm not saying all, because there are some good people. There really are. I've met some really good people. But it's very far and in between. The people with money are usually greedy a-holes. And there's very few and in between that are really good people. And again, don't take that as I'm saying all. most are a-holes. I'm telling you. I've worked and lived and been surrounded by them my whole life, and I can tell you, most of them are. Very few have good hearts. Now, don't take any of this the wrong way. We are all for sharing, absolutely, but not according to the plans of the UN, where corrupt, malign governments remain unaffected. I agree. And they made this mess, and they need to clean it up. That's how I feel. They made the mess. They need to clean it up. We didn't make this mess, but we're constantly, century after century after century, cleaning up their mess, being their play toys, people being brutally attacked and murdered and viciously assaulted and so on by these people. That's why I say the only reason and only way this is going to stop, or the only way, is if we unite and do something about it. And any other way, this is never going to stop. There's never going to be any change in this world because they're just going to keep playing their games. Excuse me. And they're going to keep corrupting, and they're going to keep doing bad things, and nothing's ever going to change. And all these people are going to sit around with their heads in the sand, pretending it's not going on, because they don't want to do anything for God knows what reasons, besides they only care about themselves or don't want to get in the middle of drama, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. This is about your life. This is about right and wrong. This is about our world going into even worse situations and into even eviler hands, and you don't want to do anything about it. Are you crazy? That's where I would think you're crazy, because it really is time for people to stand up and make a change in this world and make things right. It's been wrong for way too long. Okay, and again, all this that I've been going over with you for the last month should say it all. Okay. Read the paragraphs, the targets, and the indicators on the agenda of 2030. Read them well, and you will see that the people will bleed, not the government. Us, the people, will bleed, not the government. This cannot happen. There's a lot of things we, the people, need to put a stop to. A lot. Sorry. Yeah, I wrote that wrong too. Whenever governments talk about equality, you can rest assured communism is involved, and they don't hide it. Top globalists, such as former NATO chief Javar Solana, a socialist, openly celebrated the plans as the next great leap forward. That's right, the old campaign slogan of the Chinese Communist Party. And isn't it odd that right away just about every country in the world decided to participate and work together. Every dictator of every corrupt government whom still had blood on their hands of innocent civilian victims signed Agenda 21, then later Agenda 2030. Countries that have been at war with each other for years, like for instance Ethiopia and, I hope I say this one right, Eritrea. Now, all of a sudden, shook hands, smiled in front of the cameras, and decided to forget about their wars on drugs, weapons, and people trafficking, just to focus on a better world? On sustainability? Are you kidding me? What on earth were we looking at here? How much would implementing Agenda 2030 cost anyways? Well, according to the UN and confirmed by the World Bank in 2015, a statement between $3 and $5 trillion per year. $3 to $5 trillion per year. Where the hell is the UN going to get that kind of money from? All that money is going to come from us, the taxpayers. And this is what I wrote over here. If we allow this to happen, and we cannot allow this to happen, and they are also doing this to keep us poor and never affecting them as they get wealthier with the money they don't even need. How is that? How is it that people can have so much money they don't need or can't even use, but others are so poor without a dollar has always been a question of mine. This is like written in a note that small, sorry. I don't get it. You know, they are freaking above wealthy. Wealthier than the wealthy. They are the wealthiest people in the world, but they need more money. What can they do with more money? Nothing. But there's people out here struggling. And who's going to do the bailout? And how did you get that money? Ripping us off? You know that's how you got the money, ripping us off. And yet, after you rip us off of all of our hard-earned money for years, we're supposed to bail out the poor of the poor that you put in that position and that you put us in a position. And we that have almost nothing are supposed to share with them and pay higher taxes, where taxes are supposed to be, they're not legal. But we're supposed to pay higher taxes when taxes aren't even legal and help out them while you continue to sit on money you can't even use. And people don't think something has to change here? Come on. I'm going to read this last piece before we run out of time because I don't want to stop in the middle of this because I will forget my place. Okay. All that money is going to come from us, the taxpayers, you and me. That is their solution. That is what the solution of the UN is all about. Again, keeping us poor while they get wealthier or keep all the money they can actually keep that they don't even need. The moment, this is the sick part, the moment a baby is born, that baby has a carbon footprint. And from that moment he or she was born, that baby will have to pay. Isn't that brilliant? the shame and blame that is put on you and me, my goodness. Agenda 21 and 2030, the Club of Rome and the UN, they all claim that we the people are to blame for the misery in the world. From poverty to inequality, from famine to exhaustion of the planet's resources. Fine, let's talk. And I will leave you at that. And then I will pick up right at the bottom here, hopefully, if I remember. Oh, I'm going to write myself a little note. Hold on one second. Ended at bottom. Because I'm going to have to kind of go over the last part of this when going into the next page. So, anyways, we are the problem, right, people? We're the problem. We're the problem of all the problems in the world. We made them. They are so full of it. They made all the problems in the world. They made this whole screwed up situation that everybody is in. And they've put us in it while they played chess with our lives. And they moved us and the government around like little chess pieces and started fake wars and crashed our economies and left us suffering and broke and starving and murdered and massacred people and so on and so on and so on. How long are we going to allow them to continue to do this to us as human beings? Seriously. How long? Are you guys just going to stand back and let them keep destroying our lives? Year after year after year after year until you are the slave or you're murdered off. When is enough enough? Please tell me. It is time to make a change in this world because it is gotten too damn bad and it's only going to end in devastation. It's time to wake up and see the game that's been played with us from the beginning to now and put a stop to it. And that takes all of us uniting, all of us taking a stand, all of us saying enough is enough. I really don't know how else to tell you guys that, this has to happen. And it can only happen if we all unite and stop letting them play games with us and our minds and stop allowing them to destroy every bit of good and humanity and God-fearing people's faith and so on. This is your test. Here's your test of faith and will right here. This is it for the rest of your life, till the end of your life. That could come sooner than you think if these people take any more power from us. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to everything you have. Unite with all people. All people. The only dispute between people is the fucking government. The freaking government. They are the only problem. What more can I say? What more can I prove? I'm going to keep every night hammering it away here to you guys and trying to wake you up. But you have to want to see it. You have to see it. And you have to spread the word. You have to share the videos. You have to get people to unite. Because this is a battle coming. A battle. And we need all of us good people to unite and fight this battle. And it's sad to say, I've won people, but I've seen a few lost too in just the last couple weeks. And it's sad because these are people that I really had hope for. And then they went and did something they shouldn't have done. All because they feel they have to. They have to. Because if you don't, the government won't allow you to do certain things. Or whoever the government loopholed into making that decision for you. When only you have control over you. And only you should have the right to make decisions over you. Don't allow them to take your control over yourself. Don't allow them to break you. Don't allow them to steal or rob you of your faith. You are stronger than that. You are better than that. Hold on to it tight. Don't let it go. And get ready for the battle of our lives. It's coming. And it's coming faster than you think. I won't cave. And I expect none of you to either. Please join, subscribe, thumbs up my videos, share my videos, get whoever you can to listen to what is going on and hear the truth behind all the lies that you've been told your whole life. It's right here, and I will keep pushing it out to you. Come back, keep watching. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Again, this is reality, not conspiracy. It's reality. The proof is out there. It's out there, and more is to come. I promise you that. Keep your faith tight again. I love you guys. Have a great night. Please take care of yourselves, and please don't give in any way. You don't have to. Just come here and learn your rights and learn how to fend off what they want to push on you. All right, guys. Have a great night. I will see you on my next video. See you tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye. All right, guys.